Fasting mimicking diets, FMDs, represent a fascinating middle path between prolonged fasting and conventional eating, a deliberate orchestration of nutrient intake designed to simulate the benefits of fasting without complete food deprivation. At the core of this approach is the careful reduction of carbohydrates, proteins, and calories while preserving critical micronutrients. This strategy initiates a state of perceived energy scarcity at the cellular level, which in turn triggers targeted autophagy across multiple organs. The result is a metabolic state that mimics fasting's regenerative effects while maintaining enough nourishment to support safety, compliance, and functionality in daily life. Unlike traditional low-carb diets that focus mainly on weight loss or ketosis, fasting-mimicking diets use carbohydrate restriction as a signal rather than a destination. The drop in carbs lowers insulin and glycogen stores just enough to activate nutrient-sensing pathways like AMPK and suppress mTOR, two of the central regulators of autophagy. These pathways are sensitive not just to calorie levels but to the balance of macronutrients. When carbohydrates and proteins are limited in the right proportions, cells interpret this as a signal to begin self-cleaning processes, especially in organs where nutrient overload causes the most damage: the liver, pancreas, and brain. The pancreas, for example, is exquisitely sensitive to glucose and insulin dynamics. Chronic overnutrition impairs beta cell function and contributes to insulin resistance. FMDs offer a chance to reverse this by activating autophagy in beta cells, where dysfunctional insulin granules and damaged mitochondria are cleared out, allowing the cells to regain insulin-producing capacity. Research from fasting-mimicking protocols has shown potential for partial pancreatic regeneration, something previously thought impossible without stem cell interventions. This holds promise for metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, where beta cell dysfunction is central to the disease process. In the liver, autophagy plays a key role in lipid metabolism, detoxification, and mitochondrial renewal. Fasting-mimicking diets allow the liver to activate lipophagy, the breakdown of accumulated fat droplets inside hepatocytes. This process not only helps reverse fatty liver conditions, but also improves the liver's ability to regulate blood glucose and cholesterol levels. Because these diets still supply essential nutrients, such as antioxidants, trace minerals, and vitamins, the autophagy that occurs is protective rather than stress-induced. The liver doesn't just shrink fat, it renews its metabolic capacity. In the brain, where many forms of neurodegeneration are linked to the buildup of misfolded proteins and dysfunctional synapses, autophagy is crucial for longevity and mental clarity. FMDs appear to cross the blood-brain barrier in their effects, not by restricting calories so severely that the brain starves, but by reducing the influx of glucose and insulin just enough to trigger neuronal cleanup. This includes the clearance of tau tangles, beta amyloid plaques, and damaged mitochondria, hallmarks of cognitive decline. Autophagy in neurons is both protective and rejuvenating, offering a possible dietary-based intervention for brain aging and early cognitive impairment. What's remarkable is how selective this autophagy becomes. Because FMDs are typically practiced for only 3 to 5 days at a time and spaced out over weeks or months, they avoid the pitfalls of chronic nutrient deprivation. Instead, they create intermittent windows where the body flips into repair mode, focuses its energy on cleaning high-priority systems, and then returns to normal metabolism with improved function. This cyclical model is not just sustainable, it appears to be evolutionarily aligned. In the natural world, organisms didn't fast perpetually, but they did experience rhythmic shortages and recoveries. FMDs reintroduce this biological pattern in a structured, predictable way. The inclusion of micronutrients in these diets is not incidental, it is essential. Nutrient-rich plant foods, omega-3s, polyphenol, and electrolytes allow cells to perform autophagy without tipping into malnutrition or stress. These compounds buffer oxidative damage, support mitochondrial biogenesis, and modulate autophagy in a tissue-specific manner. For example, polyphenol like resveratrol and quercetin can amplify the autophagic response in the brain and cardiovascular system without requiring extreme calorie cuts. This reinforces the idea that diet is not just fuel, it is instruction. The quality of what we eat shapes the direction of our metabolic processes. In sum, fasting-mimicking diets highlight the extraordinary flexibility of the human body to adapt, repair, and renew without the need for total abstinence. By reducing carbohydrates strategically and supporting the body with targeted nutrients, they offer a sophisticated tool to activate autophagy where it matters most, in organs that determine how well we age. This is not merely a method for managing disease, but a proactive framework for long-term vitality. Autophagy, once thought of as a byproduct of starvation, is now emerging as a system we can guide intentionally, with rhythm, intelligence, and care.